If you got all your news from the mainstream media, you wouldn't know that there was an ISIS-inspired slashing spree on a bus in BC. But that is the case.
Hmm.
I've got this article here. I wrote it up. It was originally reported in, I think, by the local Maple Creek newspaper. Surrey bus slash attacks confirmed as ISIS inspired. Justice Miriam Gropper ruled the attacks were premeditated and ideologically motivated, stating
Hmm.
the violent acts were clearly meant to further the cause of a terrorist group. So, this is what he did. Uh, oh, first, we'll get into that he was found guilty of attempted murder and
Hmm.
assault with a weapon, both for the benefit of a terrorist organization, namely ISIS, for a rampage that occurred on April 1st, 2023.
Yeah.
He,
And this is the wildest story that none of us have heard of yet.
yeah,
So this is a guy who consumed all sorts of we'll say radicalized content
yeah.
online, and made a plan to go on a great big stab and throat slashing spree in on a bus in Surrey, and caught two people slashing their necks several times. They both survived, but they were seriously injured in the attack. They had life-threatening injuries. But what was so interesting was that he was engaging with Islamic State information, they call it. So here is a guy who's being radicalized online, who is committing to and taking a pledge on behalf of the
Yeah.
Islamic State, and then going out into the wild in Canada and attacking people just waiting for the bus, or on the bus. It is a crazy story that none of us have heard yet until today. And this comes, yeah, the original story was published in Maple Ridge News. Maple Ridge News, yeah.
Maple Ridge, yeah. So we know that the attacker, his name is Abdul Aziz Kawam. He's 28. He approached a man waiting at a bus stop
Mhm.
near Fraser Highway in Surrey. He asked the man if he was Muslim. When the man said no, Kawam pulled out a knife and slashed his throat. The victim, by the grace of God, managed to escape with only minor injuries. But minutes later, he boarded another bus and struck again. He walked up behind a seated male passenger and, without warning, grabbed him by the head and
Mhm.
used a large knife to slash his throat 3 times in quick succession. The
Yeah.
victim, covered in blood, was rushed to hospital. He survived, but only thanks to emergency surgery. So the evidence presented at trial included a
Mhm.
chilling 911 call made shortly after the attack, in which Qawam declared he acted on behalf of ISIS
Mhm.
and pledged loyalty to then leader Abu al-Hussein al-Husseini al-Qurashi. A video recorded 10 days earlier recovered from his phone, in which Qawam again pledged allegiance to ISIS, and encrypted messages and ISIS propaganda stored on his phone. And he will be sentenced July 10th. I don't, they don't say if he's a citizen, they just say he's a Surrey man. Uh,
Right. Right. It's one of the other points of the story that I thought was really telling was it was during the holy month of Ramadan that this attack occurred, and he pledged his allegiance to the Islamic State at the time, and told Westerners to convert to Islam or pay the price. And the price that was going to be paid was death or blood spilling. And this is just a hideous, barbaric attack on Canadians that, again, none of us have heard of until this moment. And so his sentencing is coming up in
yep.
how many 8 days, on July 10th, and it'll be really interesting to see what the sentence is for attacking two Canadians on a bus.
Yeah, I
With
think we're going to find out if he is a Canadian citizen, if he is
Yeah.
a naturalized Canadian citizen, and if that's the case, when and how and from where did he become naturalized? Is he
Hmm.
Syrian?
Hmm.
Um, how did he get here? Um, I think we're going to learn more about that at his sentencing, because sort of the circumstances become more
Oh,
clear because
it'll
it's
it,
about
Sure.
mitigating factors.
Sure. His mental health will be scrutinized. The way remember the bus attack that happened on the Greyhound bus with
Vincent Lee.
Vincent Lee? Yes, and he is now part of society. Vincent Lee beheaded a man on a Greyhound bus several years ago, and claimed that he was not criminally responsible because of his mental health, and he is now part of Canadian society again. So we'll see what this guy's lawyers do and what they claim as it pertains to sentencing. But we're going to get a lot more details on the story. We're going to keep on it because it is such an important story to tell Canadians, that people within our borders are being radicalized by the Islamic State to do and pledge and undertake attacks on regular Canadians.
Yeah, this is especially concerning since we're bringing in 5,000 Gaza refugee claimants, and that could
Oh,
mean entire families. And their support for Hamas actually increased post October 7th. So
yeah.
they're being radicalized in UN-run schools over there. An entire generation or two
Well,
have
they're
been.
I mean, our own kids are being radicalized in Canadian
Right,
schools right now. Sheila,
right.
Gunn, Reid, this is, I mean, it is an outrage. But but it does beg to be mentioned that the only reason why these two victims survived this attack was because they were in a place where police could respond almost immediately. So
Thank God.
kudos to the BC police that responded to this hideous attack.